That's what it's saying, okay?
Sometimes a conflict will occur in an exceptional context, and you'll want to pick a conflict choice but not teach a context rule. If so, just hold down the Shift key and press the conflict choice number. That will take care of the exception without affecting what the artificial intelligence has learned. Much more could be said about conflicts, but this is the subject of a separate, in-depth ePower video tutorial that includes a conflicts kit.
That's all it's telling you guys right there. Okay? Any questions about that? Did you say pizza? Okay, here they're just kind of an exercise of, you know, which one to pick, which one to choose, you know, whatever. So, all right.
Let's see some of the choices that Automagic offers for resolving dictionary conflicts. Eclipse conflicts. Eclipse conflict resolution works so well that many users start creating conflicts to improve their translation results and reduce their editing time. Of course, context can be ambiguous, and if Eclipse does pick the wrong choice, Automagic will make it easy to correct. So here, if I press 1, that picks the first conflict choice. Here again, I've simulated another incorrect conflict choice, and so I'll press 1 to pick the right choice for meat.
You see what it's saying right there? Maybe you write meat and meat the same. Maybe. You shouldn't. Whatever. If you do. Or maybe you only have meat as ground meat. Maybe that's the only one that it has in your dictionary. So it comes up as MEAT.
And so I'll press 1.
It comes up as MEAT. Even though you have it stroked correctly for number 1, MEET, your other meat should be MAET. Make sense? That's conflict free. Now, say it kind of threw you off, you know, and you just stroked it real quick because, you know, you're used to doing things phonetically. You stroked meat, M long ET, because maybe the guy on the Kawasaki thing, you're not even really expecting it, but when he fell off the thing, some of the meat was showing on his arm where he skid. You weren't ready for that. You weren't ready to hear that. And all you heard was meat. You just stroked meat. Automagic gives you the differences right here. So even if it comes up wrong, you still have the option to correct it. Okay?
1 to pick the right choice for meat. Here's an example of using a conflict so that Eclipse can help you with punctuation. The conflict did resolve correctly, and with my cursor now at the end of this sentence, Automagic is seeing that I might need to put a question mark. I could press 4 to do that, but Automagic is also trying to teach me the hyper key or speed key. Here's a conflict.
Did y'all see what it was doing there? On I didn't or didn't I? It kind of gives you the you know, different option of changing it. Well, did you mean I didn't, or did you mean didn't I? Didn't I is always going to be comma didn't I. So it kind of gave you that option.
Automagic is seeing that I might need to put a question. Here's an example of using a conflict.
See how it did it right there? I didn't, or it should have been I didn't. Didn't I, or comma, didn't I? Or it could have been I didn't. Maybe you meant to stroke I didn't. You know, or maybe it's stacked. It's just giving you the different options right here. That's how you do it. You know, if you want it with the comma, then it gives you that option right there. You select number 2.
So that Eclipse can help you with punctuation. The conflict did resolve correctly, and with my cursor now at the end of this sentence, Automagic is seeing that I might need to put a question mark. I could press 4 to do that, but Automagic is also trying to teach me the hyperkey or speed key. Here's a
Y'all understand that too, right? Y'all know the P is period, Q is question mark at the end of the sentence. You can be anywhere in that sentence. Anywhere. The first word of that sentence. You push Q, it's going to put a question mark at the end of that sentence. Not at the end of the paragraph. If you have 4 or 5 sentences in there and you want it at the end of the paragraph, it's not going to do that. It's only going to put it at the end of the sentence. But you can be anywhere in that sentence, push Q, and it's going to put it at the end of the sentence. Puts a question mark, puts a period, P is for period.
conflict that involves hyphenation, and I've simulated the need to choose choice 2 to select up to date with hyphens. This is actually 3 conflicts in a row, and my cursor is now on a conflict between the word number and capital NO period if it comes before a number. Eclipse chose the right choice, but if it had not, I could have chosen the choice from the Automagic list. Here's a conflict that helps with punctuation. Sometimes I tend to write the comma, sometimes I leave it out, but the conflict anticipates the need for commas or not.
You see what it's doing there? It already gives you an option of putting the comma in there. Not that big of a deal. You didn't misstroke it. So all you have to do is really, as you're scrolling through, put your cursor here, hit the comma, and it puts it behind it. It always puts the punctuation behind it when you're on a certain word. Period, comma, colon, semicolon, any of that stuff. If you want it at the end of the sentence, that's a different stroke. Okay? That's not the period, any of that stuff. So if you want it at the end of the sentence, P, period, Q, question mark, and hyperkeys. If you want it behind, if you want it somewhere, then the cursor is always in front, and it puts it behind where you want it. Does that make sense? So say you want it right here. Some of you guys look confused, so I'm going to explain it. Your cursor's right here on it. You hit comma, it puts the comma right here. If you have your cursor right here and you push comma, it's going to put the comma before yes. I don't even know if it, yeah, I guess it'll do it. I've never tried to do it, but I guess it would. So that's what it's going to do. It's always going to put it behind it. Okay? But here it's just telling you this is the different options of how do you want it? How do you want this done?
Finally, here's a conflict that helps with capitalization. What would happen if I needed to choose choice 2 to capitalize the word street? This entry in the dictionary starts with a command to capitalize the previous word. It capitalized the word state.
You see what it's doing there? Say you wrote State Street. It'll know that it's a proper street. All it wrote was state and street.
In the dictionary starts with a command to caps with capitalization.
See, it just writes it out. It just wrote it out. Well, it's giving you the option here. Because it is a street, you wrote street. Is it a specific street? Is that the name of the street? And if it is, let me choose this one because it's telling me I need a capital. It goes together and it goes with street, which is a specific street. That's one of your options right there. Okay?
What would happen if I needed to choose choice 2 to capitalize the word street? This entry in the dictionary starts with a command to capitalize the previous word. It capitalized the word state. For each of these conflict entries of various sorts, Automagic not only makes it easy to pick the appropriate choice, but it gives you other possibilities as well. Perhaps you need to delete the conflict in a particular spot, or global the steno to mean something else. I needed to choose choice 2 to capitalize the word street. This entry in the dictionary starts with a command to capitalize the previous word. It capitalized the word state. For each of these conflict entries of various sorts, Automagic not only makes it easy to pick the appropriate choice, but it gives you other possibilities as well. Perhaps you need to delete the conflict in a particular spot, or global the steno to mean something else. Automagic makes it easy.
Did skip part of the video there or what?
Let's see, is it easy to pick the appropriate choice, but it gives as well. Perhaps you need to delete the conflict in a particular spot.
Okay, any questions there on that stuff? Pretty self-explanatory.
Let's see how Total Eclipse form fields make it easy to fill in the blanks for information that changes from transcript to transcript. Script to transcript. There are several ways to begin filling in the blanks. You can click on a toolbar menu, or go to the production menu, or use speed key Control E, or hyperkey E. In this blank, I'll type in a number, and pressing enter is OK. Blanks can be set to automatically adjust their size to accommodate your text, and to delete the entire line thereon if you leave the blank empty. So the line that was here was automatically deleted.
Do you understand what it's doing there?
Yes.
You understand?
It's setting the size of the
Yeah.
bud.
It'll automatically set the size of it. Okay? And if you don't want, say right here you have 4 or 5 lines of form filled, because sometimes it's only one. Maybe it's in regard to John Don Doe. That's it. Okay, then you just need one line. When your cursor comes, when your form field comes right here, that your cursor comes here to fill it in, you just leave it blank, press enter again, it deletes it, enter again, deletes it. So it keeps deleting all the rest of the lines, and it'll bring everything else up. Okay?
Blanks can also be set to completely capitalize whatever text gets placed in them, and to look in a list file to give you choices. This blank knows how I filled in the witnesses.
Did y'all see what it was doing there? You can set up a list field
A list file.
every time, like it comes to certain, like it comes to the nature of a proceeding. Well, we only have so many proceedings we can do. We do chapter 262s, permanency hearings, progress reports, motions to participate, authorization to place, stuff like that. So we use the same stuff all the time. It's pretty much the same hearings. Trial on the merits. So you want to have these already kind of set up in a list file to where you can list them, and instead of having to type it out every time that it comes to this field, which you can if you want to, or you can just choose number 1 because it's an oral deposition.
So it's like a drop-down menu that
Yeah.
you created.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a drop-down menu. Okay?
To give you choices. This blank knows how I filled in the witness's name in other spots in my transcript, and it's prompting me in case that information has changed.
You see what it's saying there? Every time the witness's name comes up to where you need to put the witness, you put it in one time. When it comes to the witness again, it's going to say, you know what? Last time you put Fido Doe. Okay, is that still the witness? Is that the way you want to keep it? If it's not, then you put your cursor there, start typing, and it types in whatever you want. It already kind of knows. The more you use it, the smarter it becomes. It already knows that you put the one witness in already. It's just helping you right there. So if the witness's name is the same, you just press OK, it puts Fido Doe in there already.
But I'll just press OK. And finally, form fields can make it quick and easy to insert client information.
See what it did right there? You don't have to type all that information in if you have the same people all the time. So if it's a certain attorney that you do a lot of depots for, you don't want to have to type his information out every single time. Now, the other guy's attorney is going to change because maybe it's a guy that you don't use all the time, you know. But I mean, if it's a guy that you've used once, I'd leave it in there. You may use him again, maybe you won't. Whatever. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but if you want to type it in every time, whatever.
Within these short presentations, it's not possible to show all that form fields can do. So a separate in-depth ePower video tutorial is available on form fields and automatic indexing.
Any questions about that? There, you can kind of go to his website or whatever, check it out. He has some different, he talks about more in-depth stuff if you want to go to it. Here it's just kind of giving you the opportunity to go in, you know, so there's a little exercise on your tutorial there, so if you want to go through it, you can go through it, fill it in if you want. Okay, that's it for today.